Welcome, everyone, to the Dads Not Always on Wrestling. I am, of course, the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham. To my left is the Renegade of Wrestling, this week anyway, JJ Williams. It feels like we've been away longer than 2 weeks, but it doesn't help that we pre-tape, 5 years in advance. So, it kind of works out that way. But this one's good, and I love that we're outfit coordinated. That's so cute of us that we both have Hart Family T-shirts on today. I dig that the most. So very, very cool, because as we all know, the Hart family equals SummerSlam. And today is, we just had SummerSlam this past Sunday. NXT TakeOver was last Saturday. I'm exhausted. I haven't had a day off, I don't think, streaming-wise, it feels like forever. And I'm not going to do the song from Frozen because it's not a Disney show yet. We'll get that in November. But SummerSlam is over, but the memory lingers on. And we are here to give our opinion, each of us, on what the top 10 matches in SummerSlam history are. Now, I have to throw it up there because some people still don't seem to understand after me doing this, having my own channel for a year or more and everything, but everything here is subjective entertainment. If you don't like what you see, you have two options. Well, actually, you have several options, but the two main ones I can think of is you can power off the stream, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. Or you can, do your own and, give a dissenting opinion and or counter to ours, if you will. The third I can really think of is, above all else, post a negative comment. Because there's nothing more I love than to go in here and see these trolls come in here and, on me and just hit that delete and block button. It just makes my freaking day.
Just leave your own list in the comment box. We always ask for it. We tell you we'll be interactive and, respond back to you. We mean it.
He does,
Yeah, I try to,
Which he does. I don't, whatever.
I work the real job. You stay home and stream, yet I respond more to comments on your channel than you do.
Which is what makes you awesome and me an arrogant prick, apparently. So, there you go. But it's all good. So we do. I mentioned this on Aaron's post NXT stream on Saturday. I do appreciate you guys being here. I really appreciate everybody that comes on, supports our shows, and watches this. Watches me. It seems like every damn day I'm on the internet now. So it's I do appreciate everybody tuning in as you guys did over the weekend, as you guys have all week. So it's much appreciated. But we're gonna finish the week off strong. We're gonna get into that weekend groove because I have another stream on Sunday with Payback, and I guess it's my payback for being an asshole is 3 pay-per-view weeks in a row, so God help us all. But with that, as is wrestling week, we start our list with the gentleman to my left, the Renegade. Off he goes.
All right, so as you can see in the corner, let me get my pointing right. There we go, right over there. And as Jeff mentioned, the lists are subjective, so these are just my 10 favorites. I'm not even saying these are the greatest. There's a few in here that I'll say, yeah, these are fucking damn epic, and if you don't like them, then you're not a wrestling fan.
Get the hell out of here right now.
There's others on my list that maybe they're subjective. They're just sentimental favorites of mine, as is the case with my number 10 pick. From SummerSlam 1998, the first SummerSlam I recall watching as a brand new fan. Hair versus hair match, X-Pac versus Jeff Jarrett.
There you go. See?
I mean, it was this match that gave us short hair Jarrett for the better part of 2 decades.
Roughly. I mean, he kind of grew it out in TNA toward the end there before he...
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit,
but it gave us the Jarrett that we all loved to really hate.
Yes.
Even more
Absolutely.
so than, the country music sensation JEFFJARRETT.
That's Double J now.
This was the Canadian country Jeff Jarrett. This was Slapnuts Jeff Jarrett. This was
Yes.
NWO 2000 Jeff Jarrett.
This was the start of the King of the Mountain. Even he had short hair, so
But it was a great match, a solid story. You really didn't know going into it who was going to lose their hair. Jarrett was the more likely candidate, but still, there was so much going on. You had Southern Justice at ringside. You had DX with X-Pac. You didn't really know which way this could go. Hashtag shenanigans could have gone either way. So that is my number 10 pick. Number 9 is a little bit more epic. 1996 Boiler Room Brawl.
yes.
Mankind and The Undertaker. Now, while everybody talks about Hell in a Cell, I feel this match kind of gets forgotten about in the annals of their feud. It doesn't quite get the love, if you will, that Hell in a Cell does. And it's a darn good match. I highly recommend going back and reviewing it if it's been a while since you've seen it or if you've never seen it. SummerSlam 96, Taker and Mick, Boiler Room Brawl. Number 8 is the first of many times that you will hear the word heart appear in my list.
Yes.
I'm sure your list.
Oh, yes.
I kind of joked, you may as well just call SummerSlam Summer Heart.
Yes.
Because even more so than WrestleMania, even more so than King of the Ring, even though both brothers won King of the Ring in back-to-back years, SummerSlam was the showcase of the hearts. Number 8 from 1989, the Brainbusters versus the Hart Foundation.
Nice.
You want a technical wrestling clinic. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Arn and Tully, arguably at their WWE finest, versus Brett and Jim. Need I say more? I don't feel I need to.
Well, you might as well. We have some time to fill, so by all means, if you like to.
I mean, it's just a technical wrestling classic.
Yep.
On par with the Iron Man match, in my opinion.
Wow.
And this is 2 teams as opposed to 1-on-1.
Right.
Number 7 from 2004, Randy Orton walking to the ring, picking up the vacant championship and walking out.
Oh my God, here we go. Oh my God, you're too much.
In all seriousness, Randy Orton versus Chris Benoit. This was Orton's night to shine, and goddamn if Chris Benoit did not make Randy Orton look like $1 million.
Absolutely.
Randy was already very much on the rise. I watched a video on YouTube about a week or so ago, and it was talking about, or no, it wasn't YouTube. I was watching the give me a sec, the Ruthless Aggression specials on the network.
Which is damn good, by the way. I highly recommend that if you want to.
Hour-long episode they did on Evolution.
I just watched that. Just watched that. Seriously.
And going back and reliving the birth of Evolution and everything, the injuries that plagued them in the beginning.
Yep.
Jindrak being thrown in there to be Batista's spot for those couple of vignettes and screwing himself at the end of the day because you put Jindrak and Orton together, it's not a good day, Tater.
Hashtag shenanigans.
But watching the rise of Randy in that special,
yep,
from the beginnings of the Legend Killer gimmick and throwing Foley down the stairs at the Garden and spitting in his face and taking the IC title from RVD at Armageddon and the 3-on-2 match against Rock and Socket Mania, and the match at Backlash '04, which made Randy, in my opinion,
And your
all
dad's.
the way up to SummerSlam, and just the culmination of the rise of the Legend Killer. Chris Benoit did amazing things with him. This is probably my second favorite Orton match, with the one against Foley at Backlash just barely inching it out, because that match was so damn good.
Yes.
And I know if we ever get into a Backlash list, that'll definitely be on mine.
For sure.
Number 6, 2010 Tag Team Elimination match, The Nexus versus Team WWE.
Okay.
Once again, this man making an appearance on my list. Bret Hart, R-Truth, John Morrison, Edge, Jericho, Cena, and Daniel Bryan versus the 7 members of the Nexus. And aside from the finish being booked incorrectly,
Yes.
and I will take that to my grave, as I feel most wrestling fans would, this match was damn good.
Yep.
The only thing that killed this match was Cena winning.
Right.
I know he's your boy,
Well,
but Cena should have lost in glorious fashion,
yes.
because this very well could have been the redo, if you will, of the Invasion, and done properly had they not screwed this up at SummerSlam.
I would agree with that. And honestly, slightly altered state though I was at 2010 SummerSlam, let's be real.
Yeah, I remember.
A little bit.
I was at Bob's.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I think I was too.
My no DQ debut.
I think I was at Bob's. I recall being there. Anyway,
there's video footage of you being there, whether you remember it or not.
Right, exactly. That match was great up until John tore open the suit and became Super Cena. Fought out. So, great match,
In my opinion, I think the match would have been better if Cena was the first one from his team eliminated.
Well,
because then you've got Superman first one down.
Okay.
What's going to be the glue to hold the rest of this team together?
And if the glue falls apart, like it would have, if you've got Edge and Jericho there is the dissenting opinion with everybody else, with Miz taking out Bryan, it falls apart so naturally when you think about it. But again, we're looking back, 10 years now. So,
right?
which is like frightening to me that it was 10 years ago, which makes me want to drink even more. Jesus. But yeah, again, if you book that properly, you get the Nexus into Survivor Series or even into Mania and have the match with Baylor at Mania. God forbid a blow-off match at Mania. Anyway.
Yeah. They just really botched that one.
Yep.
In my opinion, that very easily could have been the Invasion done properly.
And it could have been Wade Barrett's coming out party. He really could have shown well into the following year. Because think about it. If he's main eventing or headline or feature match at Mania with Cena, that means The Miz isn't. The Miz is entitled against somebody else. So, it's, again, pull that one thread, butterfly.
Yep.
So.
Number 5, going back to 1998.
Oh, okay.
Was probably my favorite SummerSlam match until I started really getting more into wrestling, doing my homework and seeing the older tapes.
Okay.
Triple H and The Rock ladder match for the IC title.
Nice.
You've got the two men who had already had a long-standing feud at this point.
Yes.
Taking it to the next level. Ladder match, IC title on the line. You had Mark Henry, I believe, in The Rock's corner. China, of course, in Hunter's corner. it was just a thing of beauty. And until TLC came along, 'twas my favorite ladder match of all time.
Wow. Okay.
I was a Rock fan from jump. I am still a Rock fan.
Yep.
I'm a Dwayne fan, whatever you want to call him.
Right.
I see his movies.
Yep.
When he comes back into the ring, I mark out and tear up like a little baby. I'm not afraid to say it. When he came back at Raw to announce that he was going to be the guest host for Mania, I was a mess.
Well, you were also there. Keep that in mind.
True.
So, you know, live pop is always more emotional than a TV pop.
Very true.
In my opinion. Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Since the guy who watches Ric Flair's retirement match, every time he watches it, is a blithering idiot. So, you know, what do I know?
You know. Number 4. Yet another mention of the Hart name. Although this time we're talking about the little brother from 1997, the Intercontinental Championship match. 0-3-16 since I just broke your neck.
Damn.
Owen versus Austin. Were it not for the fact that Owen fucked up and broke Austin's neck, this would probably have been my number 1.
Wow. Okay.
This match is just a thing of beauty.
It is.
Owen proved in this match, not to say that he hadn't in the past, mind you.
Right.
Owen proved in this match he could hang with main eventers because Austin was that shooting star on the rise.
Yes.
You knew where Austin was headed.
Agreed.
He had already beaten Brett.
Yes.
And now he took out the brother. This match was just start to finish a thing of beauty.
It really was.
Like I said, were it not for the botch where Austin breaks his neck, this probably would have been my number 1.
That's a very definitive statement.
You know, when Owen was alive, considering I had just come into this less than a year before he passed.
Of course.
I did not really appreciate Owen for what he was. I was a new fan. I was all about the good guys, didn't care for the bad guys.
Right.
It was just that cut and dry for me.
Right.
Sole exception possibly for The Rock.
Okay.
Because his mouth was just gold.
True that. Very true.
But I was very much liked the baby faces, didn't care for the heels. It wasn't until he passed and I started doing my digging and my research that I really could appreciate the legacy he left behind in his matches and respected his work for what it was. That man should have been WWE champion. I've said it before.
Right.
I will take it to my grave.
Die on that hill. That's it.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
For real. Owen Hart was a missed opportunity as WWF champion.
I have to agree with that.
Number 3. From 1992, another Intercontinental Championship match. Live from Wembley Stadium, the British Bulldog versus Bret Hart.
There you go. Another Hart entry.
The last Hart entry.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to throw that out there. I mean, I have them mentioned as honorable mentions.
Right.
But the last official Hart entry on my list, the IC title from Wembley Stadium.
All right.
I recently rewatched this when they were showing it on Fox Sports or whatever it was.
Right.
I remember I messaged you about it, letting you know it was on.
Yep.
I had come into it about halfway, turned it on, let it run, just so I could watch that match.
Absolutely.
to this day, I never tire of watching it. You know, where other SummerSlam matches make lists because they're spot fests, this was just story. Story in wrestling. The tearing apart of the Hart family, brother versus brother-in-law. Gee, this sounds kind of familiar. Like they would repeat this a couple years later. You know,
Very surprised that's on your list, by the way.
Not brother versus brother-in-law.
Right.
But Brett and Bulldog, I don't think they could have a bad match.
No.
Ever. Like, their chemistry was just so perfect, going back to the Bulldogs, you know, Dynamite and Davey versus the Hart Foundation.
Yep.
Going back to their days in Stampede. The chemistry was just there.
Yeah.
So you knew it was going to be fire. And then you add in the home field advantage for Davey. 70,000 or whatever it was, natives from Wembley Stadium. It was just a thing of beauty.
The whole thing was a thing of beauty, not just the match, just the whole presentation.
Yeah.
Was just spot on. Well done by all involved. Can't praise the Vin man enough on that one, honest to God. Although Brett had a lot to do with it because Brett had to convince Vince to let them go on last. So,
say that 5 times fast.
I refuse. You can't make me. I'm the boss. My channel. No.
Speaking of spot fests.
Oh, here we go.
Number 2 from 2000, TLC 1.
Oh, wow.
Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys versus the Hardys.
Okay.
For all the factors that could have gone wrong in this match.
Right.
And there were a few things that there were the little hiccups within it. Those are to be expected when this many variables are in there. But for as worse as it could have been, this match came off fairly flawlessly.
Right. Definitely.
It's another one I won't say 5 times fast. Fairly. Yeah, see, I can't even say it again. Fairly flawlessly.
That's it.
There were flaws. Flaws. But this could have been a car wreck.
Definitely.
And the fact that it was so good that they did it again just a few months later at WrestleMania was a testament to all 6 men involved.
Agreed.
You know, and to think that none of those teams had started to really hit their prime yet.
Right?
The Dudleys maybe were in their prime because they had a great run in ECW.
Yes.
And they would do superb things afterwards. So you could maybe say the Dudleys as a team were in their prime here. But Edge and Christian were still bubbling under the surface. And the Hardys had so much more to do in the years to come.
Yeah. But ironically enough, the Dudleys were the first of the 3 teams to be Hall of Famers. In 2 different companies, mind you.
Yeah.
So there is that. So...
And number 1, drum roll please. If TLC is not it, there's only one match it could be. 2002.
Yes.
Unsanctioned street fight. Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Absolutely.
You know, I was watching another video about this a few days ago as well. And just reliving the whole Triple H and Shawn feud.
Yes.
And just remembering how beautiful it was. And the video was basically about 25 minutes. And it started when... I mean, I guess you could say it started when Shawn left for his retirement. But it really started when he came back to join the NWO.
Yep.
All the way up until the reformation of D-Generation X in 06.
Nice.
And all the encounters and matches they had. The chamber match and everything, Hell in a
Yep.
Cell. But this match, I don't want to take anything away from HBK because that would be gross misconduct as far as I'm concerned. But I
Right.
don't feel Triple H gets the credit he deserves in this match for helping Shawn get back to where he was.
Yep.
Triple H was the man in 02-03 when it came to rekindling old fires because he did it for Shawn and he did it for Flair.
And I dare say Kevin Nash.
And Shawn retired Flair.
Right. Yeah. And I dare say Kevin Nash next year too. So, yeah.
What's that?
I'm sorry. I said also Kevin Nash in 2003 because Kevin Nash was put on death row by most critics, and Hunter pulled a great couple of matches out of Kevin Nash. I'll be honest with you. So, there was that. Anyway, I'm sorry.
But, Triple H lit those two fires and just look at what they did. Shawn had another 15 years?
Well, 8 in the ring, but he's still around, so
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, active matches, another 10. Roughly,
active matches from there was another 8 years because he retired at WrestleMania 2010.
So he had almost an additional decade
because of Hunter,
matches.
Right.
Flair just a couple years less.
Right.
But Jesus Christ, at that point, both men thought that they were all done. That Old Yeller had been taken out behind the woodshed already.
Right.
And if Old Yeller was taken out behind the woodshed, then the bullet missed, and Old Yeller came back pissed the fuck off.
Right.
Because like we said, Flair ran for another 6 and Shawn another 8.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I think that bullet hit about as much skin as Laurie's did at the end of the Michael Myers movie from Halloween, the Rob Zombie Halloween Part 1. So that's how well that went.
Sid jumping off the top rope was more fucking devastating. It's been a while since we got that one in.
I know.
Had to try and throw it back in the cauldron there, let it bubble up.
Well, in reality, it was only 2 weeks ago by their standards. Keep that in mind. So we haven't taped in like 5 years, but it's only been 2 weeks for these guys. So
There you go. But yeah, so that's my number one though. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, the unsanctioned street fight. I pass the microphone back to you, sir. It's your turn in the cipher.
Even though I've been talking throughout yours too.
But I'm sure I'll get a word or two in on yours, because you'll mention something that I didn't, or I've got as an honorable mention, so.
Well, I've got one,
Cheers to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I've got 4 on my list that were on your list, and they're completely at the opposite end of the spectrum for most of them. So we'll keep that in mind as we go. So my number 10 is actually TLC from SummerSlam 2000. You have to keep in mind, I was there for the match that would become TLC because I was at WrestleMania that year and saw the triangle ladder match between these 3 teams. So I got to see firsthand exactly what these guys could do, and they did not disappoint me. 5 months later, they were 4.5 months, whatever it was, almost 5 months later. An amazing spectacle in North Carolina, of course, the Hardy's backyard. But the hometown boy can't win in the WWE event because that's not allowed. It's in the rules of the WWE rulebook. You can't win in your hometown, right, JR? You can't.
Bulldog won the title in Wembley.
Well, but then Brett was world champion 2 months later, and Davey was once again an afterthought, unfortunately for Davey. So yeah, there is that. But yeah, I can't really say a whole lot that you didn't say. This match is unbelievable. All 6 of these guys, plus the involvement of Lita, plus the involvement, I believe, of Spike in this match. Maybe he was in WrestleMania. I can't remember if he was in the TLC match or not. But either way, these 6 guys set the standard for tag team ladder matches and WWF tag team wrestling for a good few years after this. It took, it took quite a while for the tag teams to, catch up once Vince went, all right, that's enough tag teams. Thanks. It took him a while to catch back up, but this match really set the standard. Number 9 is another 2 guys that you're going to be surprised I have on my list at all, because I'm not a fan of one of them at all. The other one, a lot of people aren't a fan of, but they, still chant his name every time they walk into the Allstate Arena, because that's what they have to do when you go to Chicago. CM Punk and Brock Lesnar from 2013.
I know your disdain for Brock Lesnar.
It was actually brought up the other day when I was doing my 30 days of wrestling, because I put him as my least favorite, and I put the graphic up of him holding the 2 belts at the end of 14, and it was briefly brought up how upset I was that night, and a few people know why. I'm not going to get into it, but it was a very hard night, and I am not a fan of Brock's. However, I will say that this match showed me that Brock can do more than just squash the dog out of people. He went toe-to-toe, step for step, hold for hold, with, arguably at the time, the best wrestler on the planet. And in a match that was so full of drama, because it was the final crucifixion of the relationship on camera between Paul Heyman and CM Punk. Beautiful story being told. Again, Brock is who Brock is. He's going to dominate. He's going to suplex people. He's going to F5 people. But this was really the point where it was, okay, off he goes to the races. Because he had dominated Hunter the year before at SummerSlam, and he kind of bubbled a little bit. He faced Hunter again at Mania, but lost. But then he came back here and won, and then he was on his way to New Orleans the following spring. And then he went back to LA and did what he did to Cena. So this match really showed that, yeah, I am a certifiable killer, but I can still hang with the technical wizards of the world. Number 8 is one that you had on your list at number 3, Davey and Brett from 92. Again, you said it perfectly. The hometown boy makes good. Just very well told, family feud stuff, and they came together at the end. The image at the end I always remember is 2 things. One, the 3 of them embracing, Brett and Davey and Diane in the ring embracing, and the family healing at the end. The other one that really stands out, people don't really talk about, is the big moment at the end where Davey is holding the belt up with one hand and pointing to the sky with the other, and Lennox Lewis is back behind him with the Union Jack. Such a cool visual, because back then Lennox Lewis wasn't just the guy that was fighting Holyfield. He was still a young kid in the boxing business starting to make his name. So you had a guy who had toiled in wrestling for so many years finally make it big with arguably the biggest win he would ever get. And I think we can say that at this point it is the biggest win Davey ever got, with a guy who was just getting ready to take the boxing world and go whoop on its ear, just like that. Because Lennox Lewis is an amazing fighter. So great visual there. Number 7 is a one I'm surprised is on your list, considering our affinity for SummerSlam and for the Hart family. Owen and Brett in the cage. I'm legit surprised. Okay.
I couldn't do 10 Hart family matches. I just felt like that would be, there's so many people that get left off if you do that. I mean,
right.
I have 3 matches on my honorable mention match that have Hart in them.
Nice.
That was one of them, the steel cage.
Okay. So, I think I know what another one's going to be, but we'll get there momentarily. This is how you book a family rivalry. This right here, from Survivor Series to WrestleMania to King of the Ring, with Owen winning the crown and Jim seemingly helping Brett, but he's really helping Owen, to the cage match. And just everybody's getting involved. You gotta love Anvil Ribbon Diane at the end, but clotheslining Davey and her over the rail. That's just gold. That's so Jim. I love that. And the whole family getting involved. But the match itself was so beautiful. If you go back, and I highly encourage you guys to do this once we're done here, because we're already 35 in. If you pause now, you're never going to finish at this point.
It's on the network.
It's on the network, but also on Brett's biography documentary that they came out with when Brett first came back in 2005, Best There Is, Best There Was, etc. It's also on the network. And the storytelling of Brett reliving this match and telling how he felt, and just the beautiful moment when he cradled Owen and gave him the superplex off the top, and just it was such a beautiful thing for him because he knew that he could take care of his brother. And when you think about how Owen died 5 years later, falling from the heavens, it just takes your heart and just goes. Because Brett gets teary talking about taking care of his brother coming off the top rope. It's like, fuck, I need to pause. Jeez. It's terrible. Terrible. Number 6 is the first, I believe the only, yes. No, I'm sorry. First of 2 mentions of our boy John, AJ Styles and John Cena, 2016. Damn pissed they were back in Brooklyn by then. Would have loved to seen this live. Because as many times we saw AJ Styles in that rundown JCC or in them Burbank Armories or whatever, holy shit, would have been cool to see him against John Cena on a big stage like this. My God, that would have been epic. And the match delivered. Hands down. The Money in the Bank match was good, but it wasn't great because the club interfered. This match was standout. If I had any clout or whatever and had the rating system like other people do, 5 stars, easily. Great match. Solid effort by both guys. And one of AJ's best matches probably his best match early on in his tenure. He's gone on and done some great things in the last 4.5 years, but this was one of his first really big, like, wow moments in the WWE. And for a guy that had spent, 14 years doing wow moments elsewhere, this was solid for him. Really cool.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's franchise versus franchise. It was TNA's Golden Boy versus WWE's Golden Boy.
Yep. This was the
only
match
thing that would have made it better is if they had Shane Douglas referee it.
There you go. Exactly. And if you don't understand what that means, you're not watching ECW. You need to go back on the network and watch that when we're done, because he's the franchise. That's it. All right, number 5. Once again, the Hitman makes my list, and he is facing Mr. Perfect from 1991.
Another honorable mention.
Like, this was the first Coliseum video I ever purchased, was SummerSlam 1991. And for those of you who don't know what Coliseum Video is, wiki that. It was before WWE Home Video or WWE Network became a thing. JD and I's houses were the WWE Network. Videotapes along our walls, like cassettes that we either recorded off TV or we bought from the Coliseum Library, one or the other. This was the first, and this was a big reason why. Yes, it was about Hogan the Warrior against the Triangle of Terror, brother, with Sid Justice as the referee, who looked like he'd spray tan and forgot to say Donald Trump win. Just bad tan on Sid there. But this match for the Intercontinental Championship, the second match of the night, and the commentary, of course, you can't go wrong with Gorilla, Bobby, and Roddy Piper on commentary. That's always gold. So well done. The one thing I will say that hurts this match is the presence of the coach, John Tolis. He's not Bobby Heenan. Right, he's just not. And with all due respect to John, he got put in a situation where somebody needed to be Perfect's heater or be Perfect's guy, and Bobby wasn't wanting to be at ringside anymore. So, but as we all found out later, it was Kurt's last out. He went on to be Flair's executive consultant for a while, and then came back a year later. But if he had a broken back going into this match, then Kurt Hennig's the greatest wrestler of all time. Because holy shit, he and Brett did a dance in the Garden that the New York Rangers would go, okay, they've had a good. So there you go. Number 4, another match from your list, the Rock and Hunter from 1998, the ladder match, also in the Garden. Can we just say the Garden is just one of the greatest places of all time for these lists we do? I love it. The next list we do wrestling wise, it's not so much Garden because it's a Halloween Havoc, so not so much. Anyway. But the Rock and Hunter, I mean, again, even when he was green as grass, Rocky Maivia, even when he was blue blood through and through, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, these two guys can dance any day of the week, and I'll stop and watch. And these two really tore it up in the Garden. The only thing I would say, but I the reason I won't say it is because I'll explain in a minute. China interfering and helping Hunter win at the end with the low blow on the Rock. Yeah, it kind of makes Hunter look weak like that. However, it gives The Rock the out, and it starts to have people have sympathy for him. That way, he baby faces, you baby faces, and then screw job in November at Survivor Series. I still hate you, assholes, and you didn't give me enough credit for the last 3 months, more so than you were before. So double F you. Thanks for sharing. Just again, you look back on it, Joni ball shotting him really makes Survivor Series go, oh, you prick. So again,
they had such a storied history, and I forgot to mention this when I was talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
They had such a great rivalry in history that it became awkward for that month or so after WrestleMania 15 when Rocky was still the corporate champ and Hunter had joined the corporation.
Yeah.
Y'all are on the same side now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so funny because Foley talks about in his book that he was put with with Rock to make sure Rock stayed bad, to make sure because they were already cheering the Rock going into '99 as it was, and they had to make sure that Rock stayed fresh and stayed bad for Austin. But even at Backlash, there were quite a few cheers. Even though Austin got his Smoking Skull belt back, even though Vince apparently turned babyface, which turned out to be bullshit. But that whole thing led to Rock finally going, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna really embrace this now. And you're right. Him and Hunter being on the same page for that month between Mania and Backlash was like, okay, my head hurts. I can't do this. So, number 3, another one I'm surprised you didn't mention in your list. Another ladder match from 1995. Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. Now,
mention list.
There you go. Oh, you're good. Okay, you're good. So Greg and I just watched this last week, on SummerSlam 95. I ended up talking my way through it on the live stream because it was just I basically had to rebroadcast the live stream because Greg and I didn't do it live. We did it pre-taped, and it was bad. Anyway, the match itself is the match that makes SummerSlam 95. If you don't have this match on SummerSlam 95, you basically got a glorified too long of a Raw because that show was freaking awful, just god awful. But this match, I dare say, and I said it on Wednesday, and I'll say it here again, or last Wednesday, I'll say it again here on this Friday. This ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon is better than the one in the Garden in WrestleMania 10. I firmly believe that to this day, and I'd love to debate it with somebody, or more than one somebody, but it's it would definitely be a good discussion because there's so many good points in both matches. But I think the story here is better. So, number 2 was your number 1, Michaels and Hunter from 2002. Again, you put it completely perfectly. Without this match, there's no Hunter being entitled to the world title. Without that, there's no Flair going, hey, wait a minute. Without that, there's no Unforgiven moment where Flair turns and helps Hunter beat Rob. Without this match, there's no Shawn Michaels, coming back and kicking that ass for 8 years. Like you said, without this match, there is no retirement match for me to go watch 6 years later in Florida. It doesn't exist. So the only reason it's not my number 1 is because my number 1 features arguably my favorite indie wrestler of all time against one of my favorite WWE superstars of all time for the WWE Championship in 2013 in my home arena. It is Daniel Bryan versus John Cena. My God, okay, I know you were there, and I know that everybody but me was there because I had the Hooters spot staked out because that's just how I do. But watching this on the stream that I had set up because, that's what I had to do. The drama, the whole match was so perfect. And the two of them were such a great story. And when you think about the fact that John went into this banged up, beat up, and his elbow was screwed up. It got screwed up more during the match. And Bryan has his moment, and everybody in the Staples Center, which is, literally across the street, my home away from home, they're all cheering, they're all yesing, and then that damn music hits, and here comes that briefcase, and here comes the pedigree, and my heart sinks into my guts, and I'm literally pacing the upstairs of the Hooters going, this show can't start soon enough, because I was livid. It's very much like what happened going into SummerSlam this year when Orton punched Ric Flair. I was at the point where I legitimately wanted somebody to beat up Randy Orton for real, because they took away the moment from Bryan Danielson. I was, as my grandfather would say, may you rest in peace, Grandpa Frank, fit to be tied. But the match was beautiful. It was Bryan's showcasing moment before we actually knew that his showcasing moment was going to be in New Orleans the following April. Just a thing of fucking beauty. And I'm going to say the F word. I don't care.
It's your channel.
It's my channel. I don't give a fuck. That's right. My channel. I'll do what I'm out. So anyway, there's my list. I know I mentioned your honorable mentions. At least 3 of them.
You mentioned my first 3 honorable mentions. I do have 5 others I will throw out.
Well, hell, let's just settle in.
You touched on Brett Perfect. You touched on Brett Owen. You touched on Sean Razor. Brett Undertaker, 1997 for the title.
Okay, right.
With Sean as the referee. Scooping the heat from Brett.
Yeah.
Leaving Brett in no man's land, going into Survivor Series. He was the top babyface, then he was the top heel, now he's just there.
Yep.
But damn if Brett and Taker didn't have a great match, and then the added drama of Sean being Sean. From 2001, another match for the Hardcore Championship. Jeff Hardy versus Rob Van Dam. Little surprised your boy RVD didn't pop up on your list anywhere.
Yeah, I know.
For everything that Triple H and The Rock did with their IC title, RVD and Jeff just took it to the next level. It just barely missed out on my list.
I would say that's an honorable mention for me, as is Rob and Benoit the following year. That was damn good. And people overlooked that match quite a bit.
Your number 9 mentioned this guy who you hate. Honorable mention from 2002, Rock and Brock.
Yeah.
That was Brock's moment.
Right, definitely.
For his first run.
Absolutely.
I mean, he had come in the night after Mania, plowed through everybody, sent Austin home because he refused to lose in the first round of the King of the Ring, which I totally get where Austin was coming from. If Austin was going to put Brock over in the King of the Ring tournament, it should have been the finals.
Exactly.
Would Rattlesnake do it again after all these years? You know, the old gunfighter. Does he still have what it takes against the young stud? Or is the young stud going to take out the old gunslinger? That should have been the King of the Ring finals.
Yep. No disrespect to Rob.
Qualifying match.
Yeah, right.
I don't even think it was a quarterfinal. I think it was qualifying.
Yeah, it was qualifying, which is even worse.
So, but this was Brock's, the top of Brock's run, or his first moment, I guess you could really say. No, letting everyone know that he was there and he was to be taken seriously.
Agreed, absolutely.
I mean, Rocky went off to Hollywood. When he returned, he was a heel again. He was Hollywood Rock.
Yep.
Rocky
just so
only
funny.
come back because Austin left.
It's so funny that you think about it, because this was Brock's moment, right? Within 2 years,
He was gone.
he's gone. Rock has come back a few times. He's gone. So this big moment between these two megastars is for that in 2 years. I stand. I will die on this hill again. I die on many hills on my channel, as you know. I do, but without the two of them leaving, and without Stone Cold having to leave for good, there is no ascension of John Cena permanently in 2004 or Batista. Neither one of them would have had the elevation they did. Now, granted, Dave was an evolution by then, and John was already the Doctor of Thugonomics by the time Austin, Rock, and Brock really started to fade away for a while. So, yeah, they could have been up there in that tall cotton, but I don't think they would have been the guys.
No.
That soon anyway.
Cena essentially replaced Rock's role.
Right.
And Batista replaced Brock's role.
Right. So
there it is,
and then Austin, Austin for all intents and purposes, he had his run, and I think that had he not been so banged up, remember he was banged up in '99. He had the surgery. He came back banged up. He had that. People shit on 2001 for Steve Austin, but it was still a damn good year for him. Some of the crazy stuff he did was fucking flawless, in my opinion. But he was banged up from the minute he went under that knife in the beginning of 2000. He was never not banged up again. Yeah. So he was a walking time bomb as it is. But you make a good point. Cena in for Rock, Dave in for Brock. Boom, there you go. Mm-hmm. So, and what's funny is Brock comes back. Not too okay. It was almost 2 years, but not too long after Dave leaves again. So Dave leaves for the first time. So again, and Cena's still carrying that load, and faces Brock now that Batista's gone. So it's all a big incestual thing when you think about it. Yeah. So anyway, I digress. Continue, sir.
No worries. I've only got 2 left. From 2009, World Heavyweight Championship, Punk and Hardy.
Yes.
Now
again, you were at that one, so that's
No, I wasn't. That was the year I missed.
We were watching at the house. That's right. We were watching the apartment. That's right. Okay,
2009 was the first year of SummerSlam at Staples.
But we didn't go.
And I missed that year.
Right.
And I said never again.
Right.
Because I had told people, I was like, pitch in, collect funds, buy me a ticket for this for my birthday. Nobody did.
No.
So come tax time, 2010, tickets went on sale.
Damn right.
Bottom, 6th row. Yep. You can see me all throughout the show, me and Teresa.
You can see me if you look real hard. I'm somewhere in my chair half the show, but you can see me if you look real hard up in like 306. I'm there.
Yeah, just look for the blurry alcoholic beverage, and that's probably Jeff.
Yeah. Not because the shot's blurry, because I'm blurry. Anyway.
But Punk and Hardy was a great story.
Yes.
This was, Punk, straight edge society, bringing up Jeff's troubled drug past and his demons. I believe this was Jeff's last match before he would leave again.
Yep.
If memory serves me correctly. And then the next week on SmackDown, Punk comes out to the ring dressed as Jeff Hardy. Yeah,
I think Hardy had one more match with Punk on SmackDown itself.
Maybe there was,
and that was the send off, and that was the send off.
Yeah, the week after, but right around that time,
right.
But an amazing match by 2 of my favorites.
Yep.
And last but not least, a match that I was there for from 2011. Once again, the best in the world versus John Cena.
Yep.
Champion versus champion.
Yep.
Only to be followed by a jackknife powerbomb and Alberto Del Rio cashing in, completely negating the purpose of the match. And
even my 3-year-old son's going, wait, what? What just happened here? Who's that, Daddy? I'm like, I'll explain later. Just come on,
I'm
let's go.
I'm surprised Kevin Nash didn't tear his quad walking to the ring to do the jackknife.
He was going pretty quick for a guy with bad knees. Yeah. Although,
so those are the honorable mentions.
Yeah, all the announcers, who is that? I'm like, okay, I'm up in the cheapies. I can see it's Kevin Nash. Are y'all blind downstairs? Come on, folks.
Yeah. those are my honorable mentions.
There you go, brother.
That very easily could have turned my top 10 into a top 20 because I only would have had to come up with 2 other picks because I had 8 honorable mentions there.
So next year we have the Dad's Top 100 everything. We're just going to do 100 things each episode, and we'll be on the air forever. It'll be a telethon.
10-hour marathon section.
It'll be a telethon. Raise money for the Jeff Meacham Network and the Renegade channel. Jesus. Okay. So, coming up this weekend on the Jeff Meacham Network, and God help you guys if you're going to sit through this because you did it last Sunday, and I greatly appreciate it. But 2 days from now, this Sunday, of course, is the live watch-along of Payback. You can catch the Payback, of course, on the WWE Network. It's scheduled to go live at the pre-show is supposed to be at 6 Eastern, so I'm going live at 5:30. It may be 5:45. Haven't decided yet. Don't know. We'll see how things play out. But in 2 weeks, right here on the Jeff Meacham Network, across all of our platforms, you will. Well, actually, this is gonna be on YouTube. And the only reason I say this on YouTube is because it's a pain in the ass to upload this stuff to Facebook and Twitter. So this will be on YouTube as well. The show in 2 weeks, which will be a look back at the September 13th, 2001 episode of SmackDown, which, as you all may remember, was supposed to be recorded Tuesday night, September 11th, 2001, and we all know what happened on that. Yes, slight bit of shenanigans happened in New York and DC and over at the Pentagon. So we will definitely talk about that without question. And we will talk about everything that went on that week with WWF, with everybody involved. So with that.
And quickly, though, I don't know if you have the graphic ready, but go out and support this man and buy his merchandise off of Teespring, so that you have your Jeff Meacham, there you go, your Jeff Meacham Network, your Meachamania, your Talk Wrestling t-shirts that you can be wearing as you watch your favorite programs here on the Jeff Meacham Network, be it Wrestling Rewind, Talk Wrestling, Dads, not always on Wrestling, Wrestling Trivia Challenge post shows, or any of the other randomness that Jeff just manages to want to throw up there whenever the tickle hits his funny bone.
Which has been every day, apparently, for the rest of my life now. So that is what it is. But you can also get some of the other shirts we have in our library over at the Greg Cherry brand on Teespring at teespring.com/store/Greg Cherry brand. Everything you see there, plus I think 562 shirts more, give or take a couple, because Greg is just a graphics fiend. We love Greg. So there is that. You can also follow the gentleman to my left on the gram. That's right, the gram! Instagram / the Renegade JJ Williams. He's back, and not always on Dads on Wrestling. He posts whatever he wants to post, and he's more better about interacting with you people on Instagram than I am, because I've got about 6 billion social medias. He's got this one, so God bless him for that. As far as talking to y'all, so we appreciate JJ being on there. You can follow our brother, the Stat Boy himself, Mike Caldwell at LBStack97 on Twitter, and of course you can follow my happy ass on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. There you go. There I be.
Yes. Make sure you go to Greg Cherry's Teespring and buy the Stat Boy T-shirt.
Yes, there it is.
Stat Boy one and the official shirt of the Henderson Hottie, who is always popping into Jeff's various YouTube shows with her little wave and kiss emojis.
We love her for that on this channel. We love her, period. She's a wonderful girl. All right. With that, again, 2 weeks from now, you're going to see a SmackDown retrospective. It's going to be a little heavy. I'll be real. It was
an emotional night, and it's going to be an emotional show.
It is, and you guys have to remember this whole week that we're going to talk about happened 2 weeks after my life-altering car accident. So I'm watching the terrorist attacks. I'm watching SmackDown from my living room couch or my bed, trying to stay awake from the headaches. Anyway, we'll get into that when we get there. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Again, you guys are so supportive and so engaging with us. It is not forgotten. It is not easily ignored. Thank you. I'm trying to use the words are not happening. So I appreciate that, Jay. Thank you. He is the Renegade. I am the West Coast Professor, saying we will see you guys in 2 weeks on the Dads, not always on Wrestling.